everyone, it's Kayleigh and Cassie here. Thanks for tuning in to our weekly podcast. Today we'll be discussing adult mentors and their effects on adolescents.
For those of you who don't know, mentoring programs are very important programs that help connect disadvantaged adolescents with an adult who has specific skills and knowledge to help adolescents improve their work, skill level, or school performance.
Mentoring programs have reported increases in self-esteem, regard for and comfort with members of other races, the ability to maintain positive relationships with adults, decision-making abilities in the career choice process, along with many other psychological health benefits.
In a 5-year study, which was sponsored by Big Brothers Big Sisters Canada, has also found that children with mentors were more confident and had fewer behavioral problems, where the girls in the study were 4 times less likely to become bullies than those without a mentor, and boys were 2 times less likely. In general, the study showed that young people had an increased belief in their ability to succeed in school and felt less anxiety related to peer pressure.
To go for saying, adolescents with mentors are also significantly less likely to participate in 4 of the 5 measured risk behaviors: ever carrying a weapon, illicit drug use in the past 30 days, smoking more than 5 cigarettes per day, and sex with more than 1 partner in the past 6 months. But there was no significant difference found with alcohol use.
This less frequent participation in these 4 risk behaviors has led to an increase in high school graduation rates, a decrease in high school dropout rates, higher college enrollment rates, and higher educational aspirations.
One study conducted by North Carolina State University showed that youth from disadvantaged backgrounds are twice as likely to attend college when they have a mentor, particularly a teacher. The study also showed that less than half of disadvantaged students have an adult mentor.
With all of the benefits of these mentors, it should be a priority to provide these disadvantaged adolescents with a supportive adult because regardless of income level, teens grow intellectually, interpersonally, and emotionally from supportive mentors. For example, most reported they were better planners, organizers, and problem solvers, and they grew in self-confidence and self-awareness.
Having been a part of an adult mentoring program, we can both attest to these benefits that we've discussed. Although I have had a pretty stable childhood, I am still faced with many disadvantages, such as being a first-generation college student. My parents never went to college, so I didn't have the support that most of my peers had. So being a part of Upward Bound, a program with adult mentors that provided me with help with high school and college, was very important for me and helped me in more ways than one.
I agree. Coming from a disadvantaged background, Upward Bound has also helped me in many ways. Without the program, I don't know if I would be where I am today. Upward Bound has provided me with many new opportunities, such as staying on a college campus and meeting new people outside of my high school. Meeting new people allowed me to open myself up and become a more caring person, which increased my self-esteem.
Upward Bound also helped me open up a lot. I come from a really small town, so being surrounded by a whole bunch of new people and having mentors there for me really encouraged me to become more social. Mentors are also important because they have a chance to create a new relationship and enjoy successfully teaching someone something new. When I was in Upward Bound, I was able to connect with the college students who were there to support us. Having that constant support of people who knew what we were going through and how to help us allowed me to find the courage to come out of my shell and grow intellectually, interpersonally, and emotionally into the person I am today. One college student in particular who helped me a lot was Matt. For instance, Matt was always there for me if I ever needed someone to talk to, and he even helped me come out of the closet, something that was not only very psychologically hard and challenging for me, but something I don't think I would ever have the courage to do without him and his support. Do you have a certain mentor that really helped you?
Yeah. For me, it was one of the college students from Upward Bound that helped me a lot, was Christian. His bright personality was contagious. Whenever he walked into the room, he always found a way to lift my mood and make me feel better. One particular memory I have where Christian helped me become more outgoing was when we were having an Upward Bound dance, and he got me to dance and sing with him when I wouldn't have before. Christian also helped me in many ways academically. Besides taking time out of his day to help me brainstorm ideas for my college essay, along with correcting my college essay, he also encouraged me to work harder in school and strive to do the best I possibly could.
He has always been a great mentor. I mean, it's really no surprise that adult mentors are very important and influential in adolescents' lives. One study on African American youth conducted by the University of Georgia showed how important mentors were for teens with hardships. For example, young people who have had experienced discrimination, family stressors, and abuse were less likely to break the law or engage in substance abuse if they had a positive mentoring relationship. Again, their mentors provided the relational support to help them believe in their abilities and overcome difficult life challenges. Have you ever had an impactful experience with a mentor that has really stuck with you?
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is when Matt, Kennedy, and Nina, three of our Upward Bound PAs, talked to us about the dangers of drinking and how much it can affect you, not only physically, but psychologically as well. They shared their experiences with us and made me realize how drinking alcohol could have long-lasting effects on relationships with your peers and on your physical and mental health. What about you? Do you have a moment that really struck and impacted you?
One moment that really struck me was when Matteo, our Upward Bound advisor, talked about the options we had after we completed high school. He really expanded my horizons when he talked about the various college options we had, different job opportunities that were out there, gap years, and just everything else in general. Besides our experiences in Upward Bound, other adult mentor programs have reported that mentoring has significant positive effects on two early warning indicators that a student may be falling off track: absenteeism and reoccurring behavioral problems.
It's been reported that students who meet regularly with their mentors are 52% less likely than their peers to skip a day of school, and 37% less likely to skip a class. Young adults who face an important gap but have a mentor are 55% more likely to be enrolled in college than those who did not have a mentor, and that mentored youth maintain better attitudes towards school.
Mentoring not only helps students with decreasing absenteeism and reoccurring behavioral problems, but it also guarantees young people that there is someone who cares about them, assures them that they are not alone in dealing with day-to-day challenges, and makes them feel like they matter.
Research also confirms that quality mentoring relationships have powerful effects on young people in a variety of personal, academic, and professional situations. By having a consistent adult present in a young person's life, mentors can offer advice, share their experiences, and help a young person navigate challenges. For youth who met regularly with their mentors, they are 46% less likely than their peers to start using illegal drugs and 27% less likely to start drinking.
Young adults who face an opportunity gap but have a mentor are 81% more likely to participate regularly in sports or extracurricular activities than those who do not. A study showed that the strongest benefit for mentoring, and most consistent across risk groups, was a reduction in depressive symptoms. Particularly noteworthy given that almost 1 in 4 youth report worrisome levels of these symptoms at baseline. Mentoring promotes positive social attitudes and relationships, and mentored youth tend to trust their parents more and communicate better with them.
Ultimately, mentoring connects a young person to a personal growth and development and social and economic opportunity. Yet 1 in 3 young people will grow up without this critical asset.
This is why there needs to be more mentoring programs available for disadvantaged adolescents. If there's an adolescent in need, there should be an opportunity to have a mentor available for them.
Agreed. Today, to talk about mentoring and how important it is for disadvantaged adolescents, we have Matteo, an advisor from Upward Bound.
Hi guys, I'm so excited to have this conversation. Mentoring and advising youth is my passion, and so I'm really looking forward to our conversation today and sharing what I can share to help this conversation move forward.
Okay, that's good.
Wait. How did you land where you are today?
Well, I landed as a program advisor for the Upward Bound program. It was sort of by fate. I met the director of the program. She saw how I worked with students, and she wanted me to influence her program. And once I was introduced to Upward Bound, I really became sort of captivated by the mission, which is servicing low-income first-generation students and helping them sort of illuminate a future that they might not be able to see without a program like this. So it's like, how can I help them illuminate a path towards a career, towards a life that's worth living? And so that became like super inspiring for me. So I landed this job because a friend saw my skills and said, you need to really work for this program because you've got a lot to share. And I've been working for Upward Bound for the past 3 years after that.
What has been the proudest moment you've had with mentoring?
Oh man, it's really hard to really define an individual moment as my proudest moment. It's sort of just beautiful to really step back and get some perspective and be like, wow, I'm having quite an influence on other people. I'm sharing parts of myself every day with students, and with that sharing through stories or through, academic advising or counseling or run the gamut, right? I just find it so inspiring to see students get it. And when a student gets it, that doesn't mean they get the information I'm sharing. They get it for themselves. They understand a piece of their own puzzle, and they're like, oh my gosh, I think I get it. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do next. And every time a student gets it, I just about melt. I'm like, wow, it all sort of came together, and now they get it. And that feeling and that experience definitely makes me proud, and definitely sort of fuels me as I continue to work and try to reach more people in my position and as a human.
Okay.
Has there ever been an instance in your career where you felt like you weren't successful, and how did you rebound from that failure?
Yeah, there are moments when you work with individuals where, your approach doesn't quite connect with them. So I think in my career, I've worked in a lot of different positions, and I'm always trying to be genuine and authentic and be myself, and sometimes that doesn't connect with a student. And I think one of the harshest things that I ever heard was a parent tell me that I wasn't right for their child, that I was too much for their child, that I was too energetic, I was too loud, I was too bombacious, and that sort of sunk me. My heart sort of broke a little bit, because my intention always is to help and encourage people to grow into themselves, right? That's like what a counselor is, that's what a mentor is to encourage growth, to really inspire it, And the only way to really inspire it is to be inspired yourself. And one way I really have always expressed my inspiration is through this unbridled enthusiasm. Just get so excited. And sometimes that really pushes people away. In this one particular student, I remember my heart breaking because I worked so hard to try to connect with her. And it just didn't work. And you've got to swallow your pride in that, I had to really swallow my pride and just accept that that's just how things work sometimes. That I don't need to, try to fix anything. This is just what is. She does not want to work with me, and that's okay. I can encourage her to work with others, or encourage other people to work with her, and that was a real good lesson for me, to realize that everything I say isn't always applauded, and that everyone has a perspective, and I think as mentors and myself, I've learned this through my years, is that everyone's perspective counts, and that I definitely do not know everything. And just being humble in that, and each day taking that day for what it is, and not getting too ahead of myself. And that's how I sort of grow. That's how I grew from that experience, and really in any failure that I have. I just recognize that that perspective exists, and that everything I know is just what I know, and others know other things. So.
For all the listeners out there, is there any specific advice that you'd often give to the adolescents you oversee?
Yes. I encourage adolescents always to investigate their why. And what I mean by that is that I really want to encourage people to think deeply. So it's this investigation into your own self, and how do we do that? It's like one of the most important ways to do that, to investigate yourself, is to understand what it is that's going to make you happy. And the only way you're going to know what's going to make you happy is to know what you want and what you like, and to talk about those things. And so, all of that said, what's really, really important is to get adolescents to talk about the stuff that they like and they want, so that they can start defining a future that makes sense. Because the only way you're going to get to a goal or a future, a life that's worth living, is to aim at things, to aim at real things. And once you aim at real things, then your path starts to shape and wind and twist and turn, and you thought you were aiming at this one thing, and then all of a sudden, because you aimed at that, you actually turn to the left, and now you're moving in a totally different direction, but you would have never moved there if you weren't aiming at the first thing to begin with. So it's like, the only way you're going to know what to aim at is to talk about the things that you want and the things that you like. And then from there, I sort of funnel it into different sort of modalities of counseling, where it's like, all right, so we've got to there, and why are you interested in that? What story, what influenced that? And I try to prod in there to encourage the adolescent to investigate themselves, because their story is worth telling, and that story will inspire their future, and that future will definitely be worth living if they know what they want and what they're aiming at.
Thank you for chatting with us today, Matteo. Is there any last words you would like to share?
No, I really enjoyed our conversation. I think that this is an important conversation to have with everyone, really, that this work really means a lot to me, and I hope to continue to do this for many years to come.
We have another guest speaker, Pius, a previous Upward Bound advisor.
Okay, yeah, thank you guys for having me on the show and taking your time for something that's so worthwhile. I'm very appreciative to know both of you. You guys are very excellent students, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
In all of your years of working, have you seen any specific changes in adolescents after being mentored?
Yes. I think about, first of all, effective listening. I think that a lot of people talk at students instead of actually listening and taking time in to listen without interjecting. So effective listening has always been one of the greatest techniques that I have used. Also, making sure that I provide a structure for, expectations for a student to know that they could reach these goals. Setting short-term goals that are achievable, that are attainable, so the student could see their success manifest in a reachable way. Because I think a lot of people set long-term goals, and depending on the student or the situation, you want to be able to give the student a goal that they can attain and reach. I think that those are some of my techniques. Listening and making sure that I'm also making sure to praise a student when I do see the good things. Because nowadays there's a lot of pressure, and just because you don't get all the answers right doesn't mean you're not doing a lot of things that are right. So I always believe in at least a 4-to-1 ratio of positive interactions to negative interactions.
Have there been any cases in which the adolescent has not improved?
Yes, there's been a lot of situations where kids were recidivists, meaning that they were repeat offenders after they left our program, because there wasn't enough structure set up to support when they went back into their environment. The pressures of what was going on with them is what turned them back into committing some of the same crimes that they did. A lot of it was because of survival and the circumstances that they were in, and nobody was able to support them the things that we implemented in them. It was very frustrating for me.
Is there any techniques or specific things you think about when mentoring adolescents?
Yes. I think about, first of all, effective listening. I think that a lot of people talk at students instead of actually listening and taking time in to listen without interjecting. So effective listening has always been one of the greatest techniques that I have used. Also, making sure that I provide a structure for, expectations for a student to know that they could reach these goals. Setting short-term goals that are achievable, that are attainable, so the student could see their success manifest in a reachable way. Because I think a lot of people set long-term goals, and depending on the student or the situation, you want to be able to give the student a goal that they can attain and reach. I think that those are some of my techniques. Listening and making sure that I'm also making sure to praise a student when I do see the good things. Because nowadays there's a lot of pressure, and just because you don't get all the answers right doesn't mean you're not doing a lot of things that are right. So I always believe in at least a 4-to-1 ratio of positive interactions to negative interactions. Bye!
Okay, everyone, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in, and if you have any questions, please comment them down below.